stunning lifelike images right into your home. Plus, we're also including a modern entertainment system that could fill your space with 360.
I, as my breath, am my only self that I have to know. I am my only breath, my only self that I have to know. You see what happens if I don't take my next breath? If I don't take my next breath, I have no self to know. I am my only breath, my only self that I have to know. See, when I look at my breath, starting out with my next breath, and I follow my breath takes me to all of the images that I'm looking at around me, because it's part of the self, part of myself. I cannot see what that I'm looking at. I am all of the images, I'm all of the colors that I'm looking at. I feel satisfied and I feel secure. I'm all of the fragrances that I'm smelling. My fragrances are part of myself that I have to know. My textures that I'm feeling are part of myself that I have to know. So I am all of my images that I'm looking at, all of my colors that I'm looking at, all of my textures that I'm feeling, all of my fragrances that I'm smelling, all of the foods that I'm tasting. I'm at the center. Is what makes me possible. My breath is supplying me with all of the elements that make up my body. The water, the fire, the earth frequencies. These are all of the gifts that my breath is giving me and inviting me to accept as myself. Things that I'm experiencing and can identify as my experience. That's myself that I have to know. So I have a whole wonderful, expansive plateau. Planet Earth is myself that I have to know. Everything in it is part of what I have to know, and I can only know it by experiencing it, by welcoming it as a part of my. I extend myself from planet Earth and I look up in the skies. I see all of the stars. I see all of the suns, the moons. I see the galaxies. That's part of myself that I have to know. I look into my mind, and all of the thoughts that I have in me are part of what I am generating. Everything that I'm looking at, everything that I'm tasting, everything that I'm smelling, everything that I'm feeling, everything that I'm hearing is myself. When I can reconcile that when I can accept that, when I can take ownership of all of what I am seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and knowing, when I can, it takes me into my heart chambers, in my body, which is myself. Nothing I taste that is not myself. Nothing that I hear that is self. And when I look into my mind, and I have fears in me, I have trepidation in me, the question that comes is, why am I not in love with myself? And the truth is, when I do not accept myself fully, when I do not breathe consciously and deeply and connect with my own heart and know that that's myself, that's where I'm springing from, then that shallow breathing leads to disorientation and aloneness and depression, because myself is full of everything that will enable me to feel good, to feel God, because myself is all of what God is. Myself is all of the spirit, the plasma, the essential elements that God is. And within, I'm truly accepting the God that is manifesting me. As far as my eyes can see, I'm looking at myself that I'm being gifted with, that I have to know. So in truth, I'm not complicated. Myself revealed to my consciousness. Well, that's what my breath does. My breath reveals myself to me. And every living thing that I'm looking at, every living thing that I am looking at is, I have to accept and love and know that one conscious deep breath at a time is what enables me to experience myself, the only self that I have to know.